I didn't live here at that point in time, because I didn't move here until 2000. But she said it was scary because you don't know what it is. Like, you hear it, you feel it, and she's like, and I actually, you feel it before you hear it when a big explosion like that goes off.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. It is the appointed hour. I'll call to order the November 19th meeting of the Oklahoma City Riverfront Redevelopment Authority. Item 2 is item from the chairman, and I don't have anything. Well, I do have one thing. I'll steal Melinda's thunder a little bit. We did get another $25,000 deposit into our account at the Community Foundation from Waste Connections, Inc. They've been doing that for a number of years now, and we're certainly appreciative of that. Now, item 3 is the minutes from October 22nd. Do we have any changes or corrections?
Can I just get somebody to verbally second?
Oh, you have Adam as the second. So it's Shelley.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
There you go.
We're all new at this. Hang on. Cast your vote. And that passes. Item 4 is the consent docket. We have the oil and gas revenue report, a river corridor events update, and a permanent easement for OG&E to provide service to a flow meter at Twin Creek, Southwestern Avenue and Hanger Drive. Any questions on any of those? Need a motion? Cast your vote. And that passes. Item 5 is the primary agenda items. Item A is a river project summary. Jess?
Good afternoon. Jess Shumway, Oklahoma City Public Works. Our summary for the month of November is as follows. We still anticipate the May Dam rehabilitation. That'll comprise of concrete structural repairs, painting of the dams, cleaning. We're also looking at a few other items to go along while we have the May Basin drained, and that'll primarily be some bank stabilization and also some further sediment removal as necessary along the dam. Some more activities that we still have going in the Oklahoma River corridor. Obviously, the MAPS 4 pedestrian bridge and the First American Museum riverboat landing. I did get an opportunity to take some construction photographs. Here you can see the FAM landing going from west looking east. At the lower section of the picture is the foundation, and the vertical walls are creating the inlet of the landing itself. They're soon to go ahead and start the backfill part of this project, and so they'll also remove that material, and the sheet piling will be removed shortly as well. In the next photo, since it was close and handy, you'll see the MAPS 4 pedestrian bridge. This is east looking west back towards downtown, and on the right side of the photo you'll see the north abutment along with 4 piers in the middle of the river channel, and on the right or the left side of the photo they're working on the south side abutment. But other than that, that's some of the activities going along.
Any questions? Thanks. Appreciate it, Jess. I need a motion to accept that. Cast your vote. And that passes. Item B is a MAPS project update. Did he shorten your speech?
Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Shepard. I'm Senior Project Manager for the MAPS office. I am over the pedestrian bridge. Jess and I should have just teamed up on this and done it all as one. But anyway, and you can go to the next slide. This is a rendering, an architectural rendering of what's going on down there from the perspective of the bridge and the embark landing in the light blue on the lower part of the page, circled in purple. That's the embark landing. The bridge naturally is the red. And all the rest of those lines are utilities and things of that nature. Next. This is an architectural design. The top picture there, you're looking at the bridge from a bird's eye view. Basically spans about 489 feet from pier to pier, and then there's some distance on each shore. So overall, it's a little over 600 feet of paved walkway across there. The bottom portion of that, you can see there are 4 piers out in the water. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we have struggled just a little bit. The geotech for this project indicated that the bedrock was going to be at a certain depth, and it wasn't at a certain depth, and there are areas that were about 16 feet deeper than anticipated, which has it's actually turned into about $300,000 worth of amendments to the contract, but we're still in really good shape as far as the project goes, and it is going well. Next. This is a picture on the North Shore. As you can see, that's just a drilling rig right there, and this is back in June that this picture was taken, and I'm going to show you some current pictures here in just a minute. Next. If you remember or not, we are constructing this bridge off of barges. In a minute, you're going to see some pictures of the cranes out there on the water on barges. But anyway, this is a picture of the barge just off of the north bank. Next. This is an aerial photo of the north section of the bridge. If you'll notice, there's a crane that's sitting on the top, and then there's one to the left. The one on the left has already been loaded onto the crane, and if you ever want to see something that's a little exciting, you got to go watch them load one of them on a barge. Next. Again, this is a picture of them on the barge. The top right-hand corner there, that's the drilling rig that's out there on that barge. And they use the crane and the drilling rig simultaneously as they're punching these piers into the ground. Okay. What you see here, these all this steel that's sticking out of the ground, these are 40 foot in length, and they are compressed into the soil. And then there's subgrade work that's done on them. There's fittings and steel and all kinds of stuff that goes. And there's a picture here in a minute you'll see of what goes on top of those. But that's basically just to stabilize the ground there because it's also sandy. Next. This is a picture of a retaining wall on the North Shore. If you kind of look to the inside of that, you can see those great big footings that are sitting there to hold all this in place. We sure don't want it to fall at any point. Next. These are the steel cages that go down in the piers that are out in the water and on the shore. We had all of these pre-built and ready to go, and then we started our drilling process and found that bedrock wasn't where it was supposed to be, so that created a little bit of a delay because they had to lengthen these cages. In some cases, like I said, up to about 16 feet. That's good. This is just a shot of where they've actually drilled some piers on the North Shore, but it's all, the reason I put it in here, it's really a good shot of the O'Connor Hotel, and what people will see as they're crossing the ridge, minus all of the construction elements that are over there. This is a situation where we had the crane out there. We had a crane on the bank that was bringing stuff out, and the drilling rig out there as well. Okay. A minute ago, I mentioned that the bedrock where it wasn't where it was supposed to be, so we had standard testing come out. And when they test this soil, what they'll do is they'll put a hole here and a hole here and a hole here and a hole here, you know, to get a general idea of what the bedrock depths are. Well, we had done that and we were still missing. So I had them actually come out and drill a test hole at every location where the piers were so we'd know exactly what those depths were going to be. Next. Okay, this is some of the infrastructure that sits underneath some of those great big steel beams you've seen sticking out of the ground. If you'll notice all of the steel that's been tied in there, and then all that gets poured with concrete. In the background there, you can see pier number 4 that's sticking up out of the ground right in front of the barge. Okay. This is another aerial shot of work that's going on. This is on the south bank. We had the same problem with the pier depths on the south bank that we had on the north bank, so we just had them basically spot drill every hole to where we'd know exactly where everything was going to be. Okay? And again, this is just another picture of that same bank. I thought it was kind of a good picture to include because it's a good aerial shot of what that crane looks like sitting on those. Just to the lower right of this is the embark boat landing, and I didn't know Jess was going to give a presentation today, so I don't know much about it, but I did want to show you that there's at least some progress going on there. Okay. This is pier number 4. It's the first pier that we've got a pier cap on. It's ready for steel. If you look there to the right, that backs up to I-40, that's the embankment and wing walls that come to the approach of the bridge. And the steel that is required for this was procured early, so it's sitting in the yard ready to go. And as soon as they get the other 3 pier caps on, they'll start erecting the steel on top of them. They are working on, and just so you'll know, 4 is the closest to I-43, 2, and then 1's closest to the south bank. And they are working on pier cap number 3 now. Okay. And again, this is a good shot right here. This shows that first pier cap on pier 4. When you can see pier 3 that's sitting there in between the riggings, and then 2 and 1 that get closer to the shore. And again, just another aerial photo of that same look. And this is an aerial photo of what it looks like inside one of those abutments and wing walls. That gives you some idea. And then there's a great deal of that gets backfilled. And then there's dressings that go on the outside of it. So it's going to be plenty sturdy. It's built to last way longer than I'm going to be alive. Okay. Our original contract with Manhattan Road and Bridge was $5,775,863. We have had a change order, but it was no cost. It was just to lengthen the construction time. Originally, this was going to be done when the river was down last winter, and with the delay with the Corps of Engineers and some of the permitting issues and stuff like that, we weren't able to get started on it when the water was down. So that's the reason for having to use the flotation out there to do this off of, but really that was, change order 1 was just time. Amendment number 1 increased our scope by a little over $200,000, which brings our revised contract price to $6,372,851. Okay. And then this is a look at what our schedule looks like from this point forward. Excuse me. In October of '24, we completed the north abutment and retaining walls. We're looking to have the completion of all of the piers in November, and they are all complete now. December, we're going to complete the south abutment and retaining walls. At the same time, they're going to be working on the pier caps, which is the dressy part that goes on it that holds the steel. In February, we should have the completion of all the beams. In April, completion of the bridge deck and abutment, connections, and that's just go in and pour the concrete and finish all that, because this is a paved surface. And then in June, complete installation of handrail lighting and concrete finishes. And then by July of '25 is our estimated completion date.
So are we going to be walking on the pedestrian bridge in July of 2025?
I'm sorry,
Are we going to be walking on the pedestrian bridge in July of 2025?
we are.
Outstanding.
We are. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of hopeful that we might be just a little ahead of that. I allowed Manhattan Road and Bridge to extend their contract for the same time frame that they lost due to not being able to work before the river was filled back up. So that gave them till June. And I really believe that from what I'm seeing right now, unless we have some weather and stuff like that, you just never know. But right now, it looks good.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Need a motion to accept that report? Cast your vote. And passes. Item C is a quarterly update from Epic Paintball. Welcome.
Afternoon, everybody. All right. So basically, we're moving from I-40 Service Road just to the east of Canoe, a mile north to 8700 Northwest 10th Street. The lease is through Okara, and we're starting on the project currently. The rain's got us a little bit behind, but what we've done so far is there's 2 homeless abandoned encampments that are on the property. And so I had a skid steer come out there, and he's on the first one, and he so far has moved or removed about half the debris. We have to go in there. The homeless people cut down some of the trees, and he got high-centered on one of the stumps. So we have to kind of clear some of the stumps and things so that we can finish getting the rest of the debris out. We're also trimming the trees and cleaning those up. We're raising the canopy up about 10, 12 feet so people can play in the shade, but they can still move around and, things of that nature. There are approximately about a half a dozen or so dead trees that will be removed in the future that has been approved by Okara. Also, because of the scope of the project, because we're going to need to level and put a grade on the parking lot and some things of that nature, it's over an acre in size. So I've got downloaded a DEQ permit from DEQ, but because of its size, it's over an acre in scope, I have to go also through the state. So I'm working on the paperwork for the permitting for the groundwater runoff, I think is, forgot what the department is, but that's what it's for, to control the water when we're doing the modifications to the grade and things of that nature. And so currently we're trimming trees. The debris from that is being put into a chipper, and we're chipping it up is what we're doing, and using it for ground cover and stuff, things of that nature. And then hopefully things will dry out, and we're going to try to get a couple more days of trimming done into this week. So that is the plan currently that we're doing. Hopefully, if everything goes smooth, we should have the parking lot done and have everything moved over to our schedule sometime in May or June is what we're looking at when we're looking at moving. So that is what's going on.
Okay. Any questions? Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Got a motion to accept that? Cast your vote. That passes. Item D is the Riverfront Authority schedule of cash receipt for the period ended September 30th. Any questions on that? Any motion? Cast your vote. That passes. Item E is a revocable permit with Bodies Race Company for the timed Patty 5K, 10K, and half marathon on March 16th using Wheeler Park and North River Trail. Any questions? Cast your votes. That passes. Item 6, the claims docket. Motion to pay a bill. Cast your vote. That passes. Okay, item 7, comments from staff. Melinda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Melinda McMillan Miller, Director of Parks and Recreation. You kind of stole my thunder there, sir. I was really going to be excited to talk about that donation today. But other than that, it's been kind of a normal month down on the river. We continue to try to secure the wetlands site and our security company that we have contracted with this year. We get their reports about every week to 2 weeks. We get the reports of all incidents that occur along the river. It's been sometimes quite entertaining, but always reassuring that it's a great investment to help protect our assets down there. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to accept that? That passes. Any comments from citizens? Any comments from trustees? Or citizens? I will say our next meeting is December 17th. It's an early meeting, as much as this one was because of the holiday. If you know ahead of time that you're not going to be here on the 17th, if you'd let David know so we can figure out what's going on with our December meeting. Hopefully everybody can be here. We are adjourned.